Welcome back, Grade 9 Focus learners at St. Paul American School, Clark. Okay, let's dive right into this explainer for General English 9, Unit 5, Lesson 1. Today, we are focusing on determining the technical meanings of words and identifying and analyzing tone and diction. Whenever we read a text, whether it's a sci-fi novel, a dense scientific article, or a famous historical speech, we aren't just absorbing dry facts. We're actually experiencing a very specific atmosphere created by the writer. And today, we're going to learn exactly how writers build that atmosphere, literally brick by brick.
Here's a quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with our learning objectives, explore diction and technical meanings, and then learn how to identify tone. After that, we'll see some model analysis in action, do some quick checks for understanding, and wrap up with a summary of key concepts.
Section 1. Our learning objectives. These are the precise skills we're going to master today, and they are completely aligned with your 9th grade English standards. First, you'll learn how to determine the technical meanings of words and phrases. Second, you'll identify and analyze diction. And third, you'll identify and analyze tone. Honestly, if you can nail these 3 skills down, your reading comprehension is absolutely going to skyrocket. Section 2. Diction and technical meanings. Let's start with the micro part of our language architecture, individual words. Diction is quite simply the choice and use of words and phrases in speech or writing. Think of a writer like a master builder, right? Every single word is a deliberate brick they have chosen. A great writer doesn't just accidentally use a word, they select it to convey a very specific feeling or meaning directly to you, the reader. And just like there are tons of different building materials, there are lots of different types of diction. They range across a huge spectrum. We've got formal diction, which is that highly sophisticated language you'd find in legal or academic texts. Then there's informal diction, just everyday casual language, like saying the guy got busted. Colloquial diction involves regional expressions, like when a character says y'all. Slang is extremely specific to particular groups and changes super fast, like using the word lit. And finally, we have technical jargon. Technical jargon refers to highly specialized vocabulary used in very specific fields. When you encounter words like photosynthesis in biology or debt-to-income ratio in an economics text, you're looking at technical meanings. So here's the trick. When you come across unfamiliar technical jargon, you have to look closely at the surrounding text. Use those context clues to determine its specific meaning in that field. It's like being a language detective. Section 3. Identifying the tone. We're moving from the micro level of single words to the macro level. Tone is the author's overall attitude toward the subject matter or the audience. When someone says, hey, don't take that tone with me, they aren't really talking about the literal words being said, are they? They're talking about the underlying attitude. Well, the exact same rule applies to reading. Tone can be incredibly varied. It might be optimistic, conveying hope and positivity, like saying, I truly believe in a brighter future. Or pessimistic, lacking hope entirely. It can be sarcastic, using irony to mock something. It could be joyful, just expressing pure happiness. Or it might be melancholic, evoking deep sadness or reflection, like describing autumn leaves falling quietly as if mourning the end of summer. Section 4. Model analysis in action. Now, what's really interesting is applying these ideas to a real text. Let's read this excerpt together. Her voice was the soft whisper of a summer breeze, caressing the air with sweet promises. As a critical reader, my internal monologue immediately flags a few specific words. I'm zeroing in on the diction. I see soft, whisper, caressing, and sweet promises. Let's break that down because this brilliantly illustrates how diction directly builds tone. The words soft, whisper, and caressing don't just describe a sound. They evoke an emotional suggestion of gentleness and real intimacy. The phrase sweet promises suggests optimism and warmth. When you add all these deliberate word choices together, the author creates a very specific ambiance. The diction actively creates a gentle, deeply optimistic tone. Let's try another one, but with a totally different context. This is from George Washington's farewell address, delivered at the end of his final presidential term back in 1796. He writes, "To the efficacy and permanency of your union, a government for the whole is indispensable." Just look at the diction here. Efficacy, permanency, indispensable. Washington's choice of words is highly sophisticated and formal. His deliberate diction results in a passionate, powerful tone, signaling to the audience that this is a serious, foundational matter for the country. It's completely different from our summer breeze example, right? Section 5. Quick checks for understanding.
Before we wrap up, we need to clear up a very common misconception. You must be able to strictly separate a word's denotative meaning from its connotative meaning. The denotative meaning is just the strict, literal dictionary definition of a word. But the connotative meaning, that refers to the suggestions, associations, and emotional responses that surround that word. And it's those emotional connotations that actually builds the tone of a text.
So, here's a quick check for you. If you were reading an article and came across the phrase debt-to-income ratio, which type of diction from our earlier list would that be? If you remembered technical jargon, you hit the nail on the head, and remember, you'd use those surrounding context clues to determine the exact technical meaning of that phrase. Section 6. Summary of key concepts. Let's bring it all together. Diction is the specific, deliberate choice of words made by an author. When you're dealing with specialized subjects, context reveals the technical meanings of jargon. Beyond literal definitions, the connotations of words evoke deep emotional responses. And finally, all of those word choices combine to create tone, which is the author's overall attitude toward the audience or the subject. So, the next time you read anything, a text message, an essay, or a novel, ask yourself, why did they choose that specific word? If noticing the subtle bricks of diction is the ultimate key to unlocking a text, what hidden architecture will you discover in your reading today? Thanks for learning with me, and stay focused.